Okay, so we're back. So it's the milkshake was good. It was several hours ago at this point, but it was pretty good. I just got done doing quite a bit of writing on the VN. I'm like, I'm at a very good spot. I've got maybe a paragraph or two that I need to write, but it's just not hitting at the moment, so I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna hang out for a few hours. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get back to recording some of Season 6. So let's talk about Flutter Brutter. Nah, we're trying to put you in the middle of the screen there, Buckaroo. Flutter Brutter. This is the episode about Fluttershy's brother, where we get to meet Zephyr Breeze, her deadbeat failure to launch brother. Who's, oh, what is it, Princess? Do you want to talk about the episode, Princess? I just tried to let you outside. Is it that now you want to go outside, now that I'm in the middle of doing something? Did you wake me up? Did you bring me here? And all of a sudden, you're trying to run out on me? I don't think so, dog. Sorry, I was playing with the dog. I was petting the dog. I don't know if she just wants to say hi, if she actually wants something from me. So now while I'm just rubbing her skull, I'm going to talk about this episode. This episode, I think, really lives or dies on if you find Zephyr Breeze entertaining or purely annoying. Okay, dog does want to go outside, but let me keep talking. Well, excuse me, Princess, because her name is Princess. Oh my fucking goodness. That was too easy. I hate how easy that was. Anyways, this episode lives or dies on Zephyr Breeze. If you find this character and his entitled delusionment funny or entertaining, this episode will probably be somewhere around here. If you find Zephyr Breeze infuriating or insulting, this episode will be around here. And if I had an F tier or bottom of the fucking barrel, it could probably be around here. I mean, like I said, this is basically the bottom of the fucking barrel. It's just, I didn't finish it, so it gets its own special kind of category. But regardless. Personally, I think Zephyr Breeze is hilarious. I do think he's a piece of shit. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't find him sympathetic. But I do find him funny. And what's interesting, like, just talking about my own personal situation, I am watching this episode as someone who, just about a month ago, like throughout the course of February, was moving back in with my parents because adult life happened. And unfortunately, there were some, what's the word I want? I guess complications. Like, I don't know if I want to say missteps or anything like that, but definitely some complications. The differences between me and Zephyr Breeze is I'm not just like, well, that... The big problem they bring up with Zephyr Breeze is how fucking lazy he is, and how he'll be like, this is the thing I'm gonna do, I was meant to do it, try it for 2 seconds, and then immediately give up, and then kind of go to the, not necessarily the next scheme, but the next thing that suits his fancy. And also just the way he treats his parents, it's not, I don't know, what am I even trying to say? I love my parents. I don't treat them like that. I don't make them cater to my every will. I don't take advantage of them. This is all stuff that they offered to help me with in my time of need. And I am actively taking steps to better my situation. It is a process, because I can't just take the bar exam. It's only offered twice a year. And there are a lot of ducks in a row, or a lot of ducks I had to get in a row. And I don't even know if they're all in a row yet. I kind of got to hear back and make sure that everything was Gucci. But I worked on making sure, like, I know I got to get this, I got to get this, I got to get this. And I did that. And I'm taking the next steps. Like, it's, I don't know. I think what I really liked about watching this episode is seeing someone like Zephyr Breeze and saying to myself, that right there, while I think the character is just, I think it's entertaining and it's funny, this is exactly what I don't want to be. And I can look at where I am in my life And while I might not necessarily like it, I know I'm not that. I know I'm not there. I am actively trying to improve my situation, and not by just like, I'm gonna play the lottery and hope I win, and that's how I'm improving. I am genuinely trying to do shit to set myself up for success. And when the situation progresses to the point where, okay, you're gonna take the test, now you gotta study for it, bet my ass I am going to be busting my ass, and I am going to be studying, I am going to prepare, so I can put myself in a position to succeed. I don't know, it's less that this episode is like, this is the wake-up call I needed. It was almost more like the pat on the back to say, this is not where you are. You're past this, and you're going to be okay. And I like that a lot. Also, Fluttershy throughout the episode is just not taking her brother's shit. And it's kind of beautiful, actually, just seeing how well her character has progressed at this point in the show. And like I said, I'm like, there's times where I'm watching some of these episodes and thinking, I don't feel like this character would be acting like this at this point in their life. Fluttershy would exactly be acting like this. She understands what it means to be assertive, to not let people walk all over her, to take advantage of her. And she's not going to let that shit happen to her parents, even from her own brother. And when her brother's like, hey, you wanted me to not move in with mom and dad, I'm going to move in with you. Old Fluttershy would have been like, are you sure? Zephyr Breeze, oh goodness, Zeph, could you not, please? Here, she's immediately like, okay, if you want to move in, that's fine, but your ass is getting a job. And then he's like, I don't know if I want to get a job. That's okay. I got one for you, and we're going bright and early, mister. Like, I love how she takes none of his shit throughout the episode. You know, I was like, it's maybe here. It's probably here. I've kind of talked it into being here. I actually like this episode a lot. Like, I don't think it's maybe quite as good. It's probably more here. I don't think I like it quite as much as these two. It's really good. I think it's really strong. Yeah, I don't think I can really say it's my favorite of the season. I can't make the argument the way I can here, but I like it a lot. I think it's really good. Okay, this episode is called Spice Up Your Life, and I grew up in pretty much the 2000s, but I was born in 93, so I was alive during, like, Spice Mania, and I know I've mentioned it, I don't know where on the channel. I feel like I've mentioned it in tier lists before, because I feel like I was in this chair the last time I talked about Spice World. But Spice World is a movie I've watched a lot. I am a Spice Girls fan, and so an episode that shares its name with a Spice Girls song. You know, you had me at hello. It's kind of the only place it had me, though, because I just didn't really like it. It's a map episode where Rarity and Pinky go to Canterlot. And the problem is they are trying to help this establishment where it's like an Indian restaurant, and by the way, Indian food is fucking delicious. Curry is delicious. Naan bread is delicious. Like, we had some naan the other day when my mom made lamb curry, and it was phenomenal. So fucking good. It's like taking bits of lamb and like getting it off the bone and wrapping it in the bread like a fucking burrito while it's just like the fucking curry juices dripping from it like this. This is wonderful. So, like, the restaurants on, I don't remember what the fuck they called it. I'm just gonna call it Restaurant Row. Maybe that's exactly what it was called. They all have, like, 3 hoof stamps from, I don't remember the name of the critic, so I'm just gonna say Pony Anton Ego. But they're all the exact fucking same. Like, the food they serve looks the same, the atmosphere is the same, and it all tastes like shit. And Pinky's response to this is, these all taste like shit. Why would we waste our time? And Rarity's like, okay, it's not great, but, you know, it's fine dining. You know, this is what the upper class eats, blah, 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 blah. So, Pinky, who's still hungry, ends up going to this other restaurant where there they meet, I don't remember their name. I think one of them's names was Saffron. That sounds about right. I think that was the name of the daughter. It is a father and daughter who are operating a restaurant. The father wants to try to make the restaurant more Canterlot friendly so they can have more customers and keep them open, whereas the daughter is more, I don't want to compromise our identity because that's what makes us unique, that's what makes us special. Our culture, our vibe, and especially our food help us stand out. We just need to get Ponies into the door. So there is a song, which I think is a very mid song. I'm going to be honest, and I feel bad for, like I said, I think the songs outside of the ones in this episode are all kind of like like maybe some of them are kind of catchy, but they're just kind of whatever and forgettable, and it's so sad to me. But there's this song which is basically Pinky saying, okay, we're gonna do everything we can to keep your restaurant as unique as it is because your food is fucking amazing and your vibes are amazing and I love you. Do you want to be my new best friend? And Rarity talking to the dad saying, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We are gonna just make you as bland and boring as everything else here so you fit in, and because you fit in, you'll the people will come to you. And I'm like, that just doesn't feel like Rarity. Like, I'm sorry, last season when she's talking about the rules of rarity, and it's like, yeah, fashion and cuisine, they're different, but I don't know, there's still presentation, there's still, like, forms of art. Like, yeah, I think food can be artistry, don't get me wrong. And her saying, like, no, you have to conform. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like Rarity. But, you know, the critic ends up being proven wrong because people really like the food, and the critic's super boring. I don't even remember her character. I don't remember her name. I kind of remember what she looks like. She looks kind of skeletal. I don't know. She looks like she died a couple weeks ago, but her fucking corpse is still shambling around. I don't know. This is a C tier episode, man. I wish I had more to say. There's just not much. So then we get Stranger Than Fan Fiction, which, great title, by the way. I've never seen Stranger Than Fiction. I remember watching the trailer for it, like, years ago, thinking that sounds super interesting, I should watch it, and I never have. So this episode is Rainbow Dash goes to a Daring Do convention, and she meets a dude named Quibblepants, who is voiced by Patton Oswalt, who is a passionate fan of the first 3 books in the series. He's like, these are amazing, but I hate everything that came afterward because I think they really dumbed it down. Originally, Daring Do, she was someone who was, like, she kicked some ass, but she was a really great puzzle solver, and I loved her intelligence. The latter books they're just dumb action books. And I mean, it's kind of fun if I turn my brain off, but it's so unrealistic that I just can't take it seriously anymore, and I hate seeing something I loved just being lowered to the lowest common denominator. I love everything about everything I just said. Rainbow Dash at a Daring Do convention, that alone is like, that's fucking funny. Like, there's Daring Do body pillows being sold. What the fuck? Like, Caballero, her nemesis, the one that's not Aoi Zoto from the last episode, shows up with his droogs, and one of his droogs buys something, and he, like, slaps it off the dude's back. And my brain, of course, just goes, what are those? I don't know. They look kind of dashing. I've spent 18 years trying to get rid of this bows. Fuck, I can't remember the whole monologue. Damn it! And you are wearing his merchandise. Like, the fucking scene with Hades and Pain and Panic. Like, it's so funny. Like, it's not nearly as funny as that. Like, they don't really do a monologue here with Caballero, but I'm like, okay, this is kind of making me think of one of the best scenes in Hercules, which, I mean, basically every scene in Hercules, the best scene in Hercules. I fucking love that movie. It's probably the Disney animated film I've seen the most. Anyways, point. So I think that alone is just kind of funny. The fact that Patton Oswalt is in the episode endears it to me a lot because I love me some Patton Oswalt. And just, the fact that you have this dude who's like, I used to really like this, like, I really like this thing, but I also really fucking hate it, is something I can relate to about a lot of things. Especially, speaking of ponies, Project Horizons. Which boy, I'm not going to go on a Project Horizons rant right now. I might get lulled into one later. But, I know that feeling of like, man, I really love this thing. Now let me talk about why it's dog shit for 10 hours straight. Like, no, yeah, I get it. You say it with your chest, King. Also, specifically, the first 3 books are the best and everything after is dog shit. Like, the first 3 books. The first 3 seasons were pre-Alicorn, and I know there's a lot of people who, after the Alicorn thing, were just kind of like, fuck this show's bad, jump the shark, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. Also, in a meta sense, this is really funny. And Rainbow Dash, being the fan of particularly the modern shit, the part that's been, quote, dumbed down, the lowest common denominator, she's super mad that they just keep arguing with each other and talking shit, and they end up getting kidnapped, and Quibble's like, this is so fucking stupid, you bought one of the fan experience. I love how he's like, dude, this guy playing Caballero on his dog shit, he can't even get the accent right. And, he keeps talking about how unrealistic all this shit is. Rainbow Dash saves him a couple times. He's like, oh shit, this is real? Huh. Okay. I mean, I guess I'll take back my criticism about the books not being realistic anymore, because clearly they are, but I still think they suck. What do you mean they suck? I think they suck. It just doesn't focus on the elements of the story that I think it should be focusing on. And that's so, you know what? I like the old shit, you like the modern shit, and you know what? That's okay. Because both of us still have a lot of love for this series. And I don't know, I really just put it in S tier. Like, I just really like it. It's, again, as someone who has spent a lot of times, I don't know, that just didn't sound right coming out of my head. As someone who has spent several hours gassing up things that I love, and also has spent several hours talking shit about things I hate, and how sometimes it's one in the same. Like, oh my god, when I was playing through Fez years ago, I spent probably... the best way I can describe it is I was having a conversation with some friends, and I remember telling them, I was like, yeah, like, Persona 3 is fantastic. And my one friend immediately went, bullshit! All you ever do is complain about it and talk about how terrible it is. I was like, yes, I do! Because the party members are so, like, their AI in combat is so bass-ackward stupid that it makes me hate the game. The rest of the game is great. Like, the game's fantastic. I also hate it. So I totally empathize. This episode's phenomenal. Cart Before the Ponies, I think is what this was called. So this is when the school is doing like a soapbox derby. I think that's what they're called. Where it's like, all right, assemble your own cart. You're going to race it. You're going to have an adult with you supervising. You're going to drive the car, but they're going to be in the car too. And, making sure everything's Gucci. There's going to be not 1, not 2, not even 4, but 3 different awards. One for the most traditional car, which they look like Model Ts, and that's fun to me. The most creative car, and the fastest car, like who actually wins the race and shit. So, all 3 Crusaders. And Apple Bloom's like, okay, my family is all about, like, tradition and shit, but fuck that. I got a need for speed. I want to win the race. And that... Damn it. Okay. I've been trying to fight the urge, but every time, and I know it's only been twice or thrice, but each time I've said win the race out loud, I think of that fucking Dr. Robotnik video. It's not even Eggman, it's Dr. Robotnik. And the win the race, just win the race, just win the race that Jose fucking loves. And every time I'm saying it, I'm like, damn it, I don't want to go into that tangent, but here I am going into the tangent because I can't help myself. But she wants to win the race. Scootaloo, the one who's fast as fuck, is like, dude, I'm always fast as fuck. I don't want to do that. I want to try something different. I want to be creative. I, like, never get to do that. I want to try to win that. And Sweetie Belle's like, you know what? I just kind of want to do something more low-key. I want to do the traditional thing. Each of us want to do something that's kind of antithetical to what our big sister wants to do. And that's okay. Because our sisters love us, and they want to spend time with us, and they're going to help us with our carts. So they go, and each of their sisters is like, ha ha ha, no! We're gonna do it my way. And so Applejack's like, shoot, Sugar Cube. You know, the Apple family is always doing the traditional carts. We always win. And Apple Bloom's like, I don't know. I kind of want to be fast. I don't give a shit. We're gonna do it my way, kid. Okay. And then Scootaloo's like, I don't know, like, maybe we can be creative. And Rabbit like, no, we going fast. There's only 2 speeds, fast and way too fast. And then, Sweetie Belle wants to be more traditional, and then Rarity's like, okay, I have PTSD from when I entered this, and I had this really creative cart, but I lost, and she lost to fucking Derpy, and that's just a 10 out of 10 joke right there. Who builds this thing that looks like it's barely functioning and is only held together by the grace of God, and it fucking beat Rarity in best, like, most creative. And she's like, nah, I am writing this wrong. And I think that's really funny. I mean, that is a funny joke to me. The Derpy part. But then, so what is the rest of the episode? It is the Crusaders wanting to do one thing, their big sisters ignoring them, and then by the end, not even letting them drive the carts. And it's just the Crusaders being absolutely fucking miserable, and I don't blame them. And their big sisters just ignoring them and acting like assholes the entire episode. So then they end up crashing into each other, and everyone's like, yo, if you guys weren't such assholes, this wouldn't have happened. I'm like, okay, like, they've been dickheads the entire episodes, but this isn't their fault. This is just because the track is really shittily designed that they all crashed into each other. This doesn't really work. Like, I don't like them in this episode, but this part's not on them. And the 3 sisters are like, hey, you know, if we were being too overbearing, why didn't you say anything? You know, if we weren't following your wishes, why didn't you say anything? And the Crusaders' response to this is, because it's really hard to stand up for yourself against an adult, especially if it's someone you're close to. You know, it's like when someone's older, like your parent or your big sister or your big brother is telling you something that you know is wrong or is actively, like, making you upset, it can be hard to say something to them. I love this and I hate this. I love it because I 1000% understand that feeling. And I think it's an interesting thing to address. I hate it because that's not how the episode is written. The episode isn't written with the 3 Crusaders saying, like, I want to say something, but I don't think I can. The episode is written with them, like, saying things, either verbally or through their actions, and the 3 big sisters just ignoring them and vetoing them, and then being like, you didn't tell me anything. I was telling you the entire time, you just didn't listen. So it's one of those episodes where I'm like, the moral works, but the execution to me it's really lost in the details. There's a song, the Go Derby Racers, like, it's fine. The song's kind of catchy, but I don't think it's that great, and it's another C-tier fucking episode, man. It's just kind of whatever. It's just mid. Why is this season so underwhelming so far? 28 pranks later. Oh, boy. Oh, fucking boy. I'm gonna be honest. I have to talk my way through this one. I mean, duh, it's a tier list. Like, I'm gonna talk my way through it. What I mean by that is, I don't know if I like this episode or not. I don't know if by the time I'm done talking about it, if I'm going to say, this is a phenomenal episode that fixes another episode's problems that is really funny, or if I think it's awful. So the plot is Rainbow Dash is going around pranking people. It starts with her playing a pretty nasty prank and, like, scaring the shit out of Fluttershy. She has Twilight sit on a whoopee cushion, and her friends call her out on it. They're like, okay, Rainbow Dash, you need to stop. Because sometimes, like, if you prank someone like Pinky, who loves pranks and is just into that shit, it can be fine. Like prank with consent. Or it's like, if you think someone's gonna be okay with it, like, it can be okay. If you're, at first, they're mad that she's specifically pranking Fluttershy because pranking Fluttershy is easy and it doesn't take any effort. What they are trying to communicate to her is it's not okay to prank someone who doesn't want to be pranked. It can be fun, but it's only fun if both sides think it's fun. If both sides don't think it's fun and one side is genuinely hurt by it, that's called bullying. That's fucked up. Rainbow Dash interprets this as, Fluttershy is too easy. They think I'm not putting enough effort into my pranks. I gotta step up my fucking game. So she pranks Rarity by giving her a giant cake and then replacing her sewing machine with a sewing machine shaped cake, which I was just thinking of, like, the everything is cake memes. I'm like, okay, I know I'm not supposed to sympathize with Rainbow Dash, but that's actually really funny and really creative. And I have no idea how many other things in that room have also been replaced by cake. She might have replaced more, and that's actually kind of gold. Who does she prank next? Because I don't remember if it goes straight into Applejack or if she gets someone else. I think it does go straight into Applejack, who, like, basically booby traps her room to make sure that Rainbow Dash can't get in and prank her. And then she goes to sleep, and she wakes up, and her entire bed is in the fucking pig pen, and she rolls into the pig slop, and Rainbow Dash is like, okay, I put in effort in that one. Are you satisfied? I'm like, I kind of gotta give it to Rainbow Dash here. They did say you're not putting in enough effort, like a whoopee cushion. Like, a whoopee cushion isn't funny. It's kind of funny. Well, it's low effort. Like, oh, you want effort? I got you. And then she just, starts pranking a bunch of other people throughout the episode and, like, putting a fucking brick in someone's sandwich. Like, that's awful, Rainbow Dash. But fuck, like, these are funny. I'm sorry. You're like, this is bad, but it's also funny. So I shouldn't be enjoying this, but I shouldn't be enjoying it because I feel like Rainbow Dash, I know she's the piece of shit in the group. I say that about her all the time. This feels like season 1, season 2 level Rainbow Dash, I'm a piece of shit shenanigans that I thought she kind of grew out of at this point. Seems the answer to that is no. And that's why I'm like, I don't know if I like this episode. But all this shit she pulls is funny. And I'm like, it's fucked up, but it is entertaining. Also, Jose watched this episode with me. And he just kind of, like, sat down and he's, like, laughing throughout the episode. I'm not gonna lie. Jose having a great time made me have a great time watching this. So, Rainbow Dash is like, okay, now I'm gonna... I think after that, like, Sparks and the gals are like, okay, Pinky, Rainbow Dash is a piece of shit. We gotta do something. Can you prank her? Can you, like, you are our only hope. And she's like, we'll see. So Rainbow Dash's plan for the big prank is it's time for the Girl Scouts to start selling cookies. So she is going to replace all of the boxes of Girl Scout cookies with these rainbow cookies so that when people eat them, it's going to turn their mouth rainbow like they just ate a Pretty Patty. And it is essentially going to be her way of saying, I got everybody. Like, if you got a rainbow mouth, it means I fucking got you. And I'll be honest, It's overall a pretty harmless prank. Okay, oh, I will say, the one prank that I thought was super fucked up, aside from the brick is funny, but that's, like, fucked up. What she does to Big Macintosh is, like, he's carrying a big thing of apples on a hill, and then she just throws a big-ass boulder in that. It's like, that's not funny. That's just really fucked. This is something that's overall pretty harmless. Like, it's, you're a piece of shit, but it's not too bad. It's not really gonna hurt anybody unless they're allergic to rainbows, I guess. Like, that, fuck. Speaking of allergic to rainbows, I saw that video of this dude there was a rainbow staircase, and he refused to go up the woke stairs, so he just starts straddling and slithering up the poles in between the stairs. It's really funny to watch. Just the lengths that people go to sometimes, man. It's, what the fuck? But anyways, Rainbow Dash tells Pinkie Pie about this, has her, eat one of the cookies, as shown here in the thumbnail, and then she goes and, replaces everything. She replaces everything, goes with her sister, or to the Crusaders and the other sisters, to sell the cookies, and afterwards goes back to Sugar Cube Corner. Maybe I'm getting the episode a little mixed up, but I think at that point she goes to Sugar Cube Corner to see Pinkie. And Pinkie is very sick. She's in bed, she got the rainbow face, she's, like, feverish, she's looking kind of pale, she's like, I don't know, like, I felt like shit ever since the cookie, but, I mean, you have a good day, I hope everything's alright, and Rainbow's like, okay, I mean, feel better. Then at night, she's like, alright, it's been a couple hours. People have gotten the cookies. They've probably eaten them by now. Let's go see the fruits of my labor. And it turns into a zombie apocalypse but instead of brains, they want cookies. And instead of blood around their mouths, it's the fucking rainbow shit. And everyone just going, like, nuts and scaring the shit out of Rainbow Dash, who is fucking terrified. And at one point, like, she locks herself in a room, like, I think she locks herself in Sugar Cube Corner and then has to fucking escape, and she ends up finding the Crusaders and the sisters, like, don't eat the cookies! Okay, I might have fucked up, but, like, they, like, lock themselves in, what is it, I think it's somewhere in Sweet Apple Acres, and Rarity's like, I ate one too, and cookies, and then everyone is accosting Rainbow Dash, who's terrified, and then they're like, we gotcha, you piece of shit. It's just a prank, bro. And Rainbow Dash's like, I was terrified! That wasn't funny! You scared the shit out of me! A prank isn't fun if the person being pranked doesn't think it's funny. Huh. Well, I've learned my lesson, and, like, that's the episode. The episode feels a lot like Ne'er-Do-Well, in which Rainbow Dash is being a piece of shit. Her friends decide that she needs to be humbled and one-upped, so they do this really elaborate thing to humble and one-up her. Here is the difference between the episode. I guess there's a few differences. One, this episode is funny. I don't find Ne'er-Do-Well that funny. This episode is actually fucking hilarious. Two. My biggest problem with Ne'er-Do-Well is the fact that the main six don't really try to talk to Rainbow Dash first. They're just like, hey, she's getting annoying. Yeah, she's getting annoying. You thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah, let's ruin her self-esteem. Whereas in this, they actively try to talk to her a couple times, and when that doesn't work, then they say, okay, we gotta do something else to get this shit to stop. So I feel like Ne'er-Do-Well is an episode that reflects really badly on the Remain 5. This is one that reflects very badly on Rainbow Dash, because her friends told her to stop. The whole fucking town was trying to get her to stop, and she didn't. She was an absolute menace. Like I said, I feel like at this point, she's better than this. But when I think about what happened last season with the eco-terrorism and this shit, maybe those aren't just, I don't know, maybe she's just not. Maybe I put too much faith in my girl. It's really fun, though. It is actually. I remember hating this episode when it came out. I remember just kind of saying, but like, this is just Mirror-to-Well 2. And the first time was really bad. I'm like, I don't know. I think this would be better as like a season 2 episode. If you had this, if this episode was like episode 8 of season 2 instead of Mirror-to-Well, and instead we got like another Starlight Glimmer episode here, so Mirror-to-Well was gone and this episode was earlier, I think things would have worked out a little bit better. I don't think I can give it an S tier, but honestly, it's so fucking fun. I kind of want to put it up here. Maybe down here, because like I said, I've got some problems with it. No, it's too fun. It's genuinely too much fun with how fucking insane it is. I do kind of want to put it up here. Oh, at times they are a changeling. So this is the episode where Sparks and the gals... Actually, I don't even... Was it the whole main 6? No, it's not. It's just Twilight, Spark... Twilight and Sparks are the same fucking person. It's Sparks, Spike, and Starlight. It's 3 S's. Okay. It's the special support. It's the fucking special support section. Okay. I guess would Spike be T.O. because he's the kid? I mean, I feel like Twilight is more like the personality of T.O., but I don't know. There's not really, I guess Spike is the closest to Randy, and he's not really an Elliot. Anyways, sorry, I'm going down a Trails rabbit hole, and I don't think it's really worth it in this case, although, you know me, I do love my Trails. Trails is usually worth it. This episode, the 3 of them are going to the Crystal Empire. Twilight wants to go just kind of visit her brother, her sister-in-law, the kid. Spike is going to tag along, and, you know, he's the bee's knees in the Crystal Empire. Why the fuck would he not go to a place where he's absolutely loved and adored? And Glim Glam's like, cool, I can go see Sunburst. He and I are cool now. So they go. The Empire is completely on edge because a changeling has been spotted. And I love how much Shining Armor and Princess Cadence, like, how seriously they take this. It is on sight. Because, you know, this shit has fucking happened to them before. It makes a lot of sense that they would, no pun intended, but they would be very bugged and perturbed by the very, like, sight of a changeling. This is great. I love how seriously this threat is taken. So, Spike ends up encountering the changeling named Thorax, who's... I love him. Like, there's something about his voice that's just so endearing. Like, he just sounds like he's kind of a dork, and it's like, I love him. He's a good boy. He deserves every good thing that this world has to offer. So Thorax's whole thing is like, look, I am a changeling. I was part of the attack on Canterlot, and I saw the main 6 and how they fought together and how, you know, they wanted to protect people and how much they loved each other, and I thought, that's what I want. Because we, as a society, as changelings, we don't have that. We don't feel that. We don't like each other. Like, we're born, and we immediately are just hungry, and we want love, and... I mean, I want love, and I want friendship, and... I just want to be happy and accepted. And I see how much this baby is loved, and the princess and her husband here are loved. And I want to be here so I can feed on it. But I don't want to, I don't know, like be a vampire or a succubus. Like, I don't want to hurt them. I just want to be able to feed. And it's hard to be around that because I can feel my changeling instincts just kicking in and just being around you. Like, I'm hungry, but I don't want to hurt anybody. So Spike's like, okay, you genuinely seem like you're a good dude. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to I'm Spike, the brave and glorious and shit. They love me here. Like, my opinion fucking matters. I'm going to put in a good word. I'm going to see if I can do this. So he tries to be like, guys, I found the Changeling. He's cool as fuck. And Shining Armor's like, that's not a funny joke, Spike. I don't like this sense of humor. I don't like what you're trying to say. And so I'm like, yeah, you're right. Bad joke. Okay, Thorax, that didn't work. Okay, here's an idea. You're a Changeling. You could transform, right? Right? Okay. Just turn into a pony and you can be my friend. And you're my pen pal I met back at the Equestria Games. Yeah, and we can just like hang out. I can show you the sites. You can meet people. So they do that for a bit. And then eventually they get called in to meet Cadence. And she's like, oh, I hear you're Spike's friend. Well, friend of Spike is a friend of mine. I'm like, Cadence, I know I give you a lot of grief because I don't really like you. But that was cool. Respect for that one, Cadence. So he gets Crystal Hoof, which is what he's going as. Thorax ends up being introduced to everyone in the room, including Flurry Heart, and being around the baby, just like this pure soul that is just full of love for everything around her and how much everyone loves her. The instincts kick in, and he's trying to feed, and he ends up turning back into a changeling, and Shining Armor wants to beat his ass, and Cadence wants to beat his ass, and Sunburst wants to beat his ass, and Sparks wants to beat his ass, and Glim Glam wants to beat his ass. And everyone there is just like, dude, first off, Spike, get the fuck away from that monster. They grab Spike, and he's trying to, like, call out. He's like, no, like, you don't understand and everything. They're like, that's the Changeling. Go fucking get him. Go kill him. And Thorax has to... Before Thorax runs... I don't remember exactly what the line is, but Spike has this moment where he is allowed to step up and defend him, and he doesn't. And Thorax sees that, and he leaves. I remember a very similar scene happening in Luca, and it was like fucking heartbreaking when it happens in Luca. Luca is so good. I keep bugging Clay that he needs to watch it because it's so good. Silencio, Bruno. But Spike, he fucks up in that moment, and he regrets it instantly, so he goes back to find Thorax, and Thorax... What I love about this scene is Thorax chews him out. He's like, dude, you said you were my friend, and when push came to shove, when metal met the road, you bailed on me. Fuck you. To which Spike says... You're absolutely right. I didn't. I did not step up for you when I should have. Please let me fix that. To which Thorax's response is, you really don't have to. Like, I know I'm mad and I'm upset, but if I'm being honest, I get it. You've said it so many times. Like, you're a celebrity here. People like you. They care about you. They care about your opinion. Why would you stick your neck out for me? They look at me, and they hate me. And they have every right to. I know what I am. I know what my people are. I know what my people did to them. Hell, I was there. I helped. I get why they see me like this. I can't ask you to stick your reputation out for me. To which Spike says, did you listen when I just said, I'm sorry and I'm fixing this? Bro, I am fixing this. So Spike takes Thorax back, and they're like, Spike, it's the Changeling. Like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, this is my friend. You're gonna listen to me, damn it. So Spike sings, and I think the song is okay. I think the song, like, in terms of, like, what it's trying to be about and everything, I think it does a good job of it narratively. I just don't really care for the song. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to listen to it like I would for, you know, like, Winter Wrap-Up or something. What I love about the song is as Spike is singing, you just see everyone, like, glaring and ready to fight and throw hooves. And a lot of that is directed at the Changeling. I think part of it is they're actually kind of mad at Spike, and they're kind of insulted by this. This includes Starlight Glimmer. But as the song goes on, I think it's when Spike gets to, like, the second chorus or so, there's just this moment, and I don't even think she was the focus of the shot. I think it was more Twilight, and Starlight's kind of in the back. You just see her, like, glaring, and then she realizes what Spike is saying. What he is saying is, even if Thorax has done bad things in the past, and the Changelings are kind of our nemesis, he can change. Because things change. Seasons change. Night turns into day. People grow up. Change is a natural part of life and existing. We grow. We get better. Why can't a fucking changeling? Is it really that impossible to consider the fact that they can have regret for things that they've done, that they can't improve and want to, I don't know, better themselves? And there's just this moment where that hits Starlight and she realizes, like, you know, memes aside, but it is like, oh my god, he's literally me. That is exactly what I want. That is exactly what I was mad at Twilight for not letting me redeem myself. What a fucking hypocrite am I? Oh my goodness. And she doesn't say anything. And like I said, I don't even think she was like the focal point of the scene. But it's great. Like, I love that detail. And then after Spike is done singing, Twilight goes up to him and she's like, Spike, I am so fucking proud of you. You are like the best little brother I have. If Spike is sticking his neck out for Thorax, as the Princess of Friendship, I'm doing the same fucking thing. And then Cadence and Shining Armor like, I bet. Thorax, come over here. You're cool as fuck, dude. And that's basically how the episode ends. I feel like I remember when the episode came out, there was discussion. I don't remember if it was criticism necessarily, but I remember them talking about the episode like Thorax is an addict. Love is his drug. And the episode essentially ends with them giving him a lot of access and supply to his drug of choice as he's trying to wean himself off of it. I'm like, okay, that's... If you look at it like that, it's a questionable ending. If you look at it from what I think is more intended, which is just about prejudice, it is that it's that everyone has our prejudices, but it's about prejudice, but it's also about forgiveness at the same time. It's kind of both. It's prejudice? Fortuitous? I don't really know how to make a portmanteau of those words without it sounding like I've got fucking gravel in my mouth. But, I don't know. This is another one of those episodes where I was like, I don't know. Is this a good episode? Like, going into it, I was like, I don't remember if I liked this episode very much. And when it was done, I was like, wait, this episode was great. I liked Thorax a lot. I think that like, Shining Armor and Cadence, given what the fuck happened to them during their wedding, their prejudice towards changelings, it honestly feels justified. I think... Again, we have another Spike episode this season that plays up his positive attributes. The fact that he is able to make friends with people. That he's able to see the good in people. And there's a part where he fucks up. And he makes up for it. Like, he makes sure to not only apologize, but to genuinely earn the forgiveness. I love that little moment of Thorax saying, I'm mad at you, but if I'm being honest, I think you're totally justified in not wanting to throw away your status for someone you just met and can't really trust. And I love Starlight's reaction during the song. This is an S-tier episode. I'm gonna be honest, I was like, this episode's actually great. Damn, the season's kind of starting to come alive, and I'm gonna be honest, it kind of does. A lot of these episodes are really fun. It's a fucking episode with Discord, Spike, and Big Ogres and Oubliettes. They are playing D&D. That's all that fucking happens in the episode. It is Spike and Big Macintosh while the Main Six are on a fucking vacation somewhere. I don't remember what the fuck they were. They're on to Yakistan, I think. They're like, okay, it's guys' night. Discord's gonna be alone, and he's really sad that Fluttershy can't hang out with him. Let's invite him to play D&D with us. And Discord is like, this is the... There is this line from the Venture Brothers. I'm not like a big Venture Bros watcher, and I don't mean that in a way to like shit on Venture Bros. I just haven't seen a lot of it. But there's this scene that I remember, and I've tried to look it up to see, like, did this actually happen? And I've never been able to find it, so I might be misremembering it. But there's 3 characters, I don't remember their names. It's 3, maybe 4. I think they're like middle-aged, like retired heroes or some shit, but now they're like getting back together and kicking ass. And I remember one of the guys saying at one point, he's like, you know, aside from having sex with men, this is the gayest thing I do. And that line, which I might have made up, I might have hallucinated it years ago, lives in my head rent-free. I bring it up because that is the way that Discord acts throughout this episode. He's like, this is the gayest thing I've ever seen, and I don't want to be a part of it. And him just talking shit the entire time. And Spike and Big Macintosh eventually get to the point where they're like, Discord, you can go fuck yourself. Man, we love what we do. We're having a good time. We felt sorry for your ass because Fluttershy had better things to do than hang out with you. So we wanted to do something nice for you. But you have been such a prick. We don't want you around. And at that point, you know, Discord yells at them. They yell at him and he leaves. And like, okay, we feel kind of bad now. And Discord comes back and they play more D&D, and he puts them in the game, which is something he did before they got mad at him because it was way too dangerous and shit. And then by the time the main 6 come home, the D&D game is still going on, and Twilight's like, what the fuck am I watching? Bro, like, I'm the nerdiest person I've ever met, and this shit is too nerdy for me. Which is gold. She's like, no, what the fuck is this dumb shit? I'm out. And Rainbow Dash and Pinky look at this for 4 seconds and go, bro, you are doing this? I'm in. What are we playing next week? I'm like, this is wonderful. This is fucking gold. This is such a fun episode. Yeah, it is good. Oh my goodness. We have as many S tiers as C tiers. Not anymore, because Buckball season's not really gonna move. It's okay. It's an episode where Brayburn and Appaloosa have this Buckball team, and Applejack tells Rainbow Dash about it, and Rainbow Dash goes, this is the coolest fucking thing I've ever heard. I'm in. We gotta make a team. Which is 1 Earth Pony, 1 Unicorn, 1 Pegasi. So while they have tryouts for unicorns, they have Fluttershy and Pinky be the opposite team, like, just for tryouts. But Pinky's really good at this because she's actually freakishly strong. And there's a part of me that goes, no, she's not. But then another part of me that goes, hold up, in that, like, bad future with Sombra, and not the Fallout Equestria one, but the one that made me think of Fallout Equestria when it first happened, I was like, wait, she was actually strong as fuck. So is Pinky actually super strong and we just don't really see it? Or was she only strong in that timeline because she was actively working toward it and was like leaning into her Earth Pony genes as Unga Bunga instead of just being a cartoon character? Huh. Yo, this is raising... Well, I was like saying here, it's like this is making me ask lore questions that I don't really care to know the answer to, and I hate that I'm asking them. And this is like, this is actually kind of an interesting lore question. Like, how does this work? And Fluttershy's really just good at playing defense. And the unicorn they end up getting is fucking Snails of all ponies, who's... I never thought I'd say this. He's great in this episode. Like, he's actually really funny. So Rainbow Dash and Applejack realize, look, we're getting outplayed by Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy. That's totally fine. they kick ass. They're badass. Do you guys want to be on the team? So they end up... Oh, phone went off. What's up? Oh, nothing important. They end up joining the team, and they keep kind of gassing them up to the rest of Ponyville, because they're going to go play Appaloosa for the pride of Ponyville, but because of the pressure, they start to, like, panic and crumble, and they're doing really badly in practice because they just wanted to play to have fun, not to be competitive, and Rainbow Dash and Applejack learn that, hey, you know, some people do really well under pressure, others don't. Some people want to play to win, some people want to play to have fun, and that's okay. When you're a coach, you gotta know what motivates each player, like, specifically, so you can do the best for that person. They pretty much tell them, like, hey, pressure's off, just go out there and have fun, blah, 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 blah. So they go out there and they have fun, and it's okay. It's fine. Like, I'd almost put it in B tier because of what it does for snails, surprisingly, but it's just like an episode, like, it's okay. I wasn't particularly looking forward to it. I enjoyed it just fine, and then when it was done, I kind of forgot that I watched it. That's kind of the definition for me of a C tier. And we get The Fault in Our Cutie Marks. It's an episode where I remembered her name is Gabby, but which also was kind of funny to me. It's like, it's a Crusader episode and they're dealing with a Gabby. It's not Gabby Gums, but it's Gabby Griffin. So Gabby is a Griffin who really wants a cutie mark because she was there when Rainbow Dash and Pinkie went to Griffinstone, and she saw how happy they were and thought, I want that shit, kind of like with Thorax, and she saw how Gilda became a lot happier after hanging out with them, so she said, fuck it, I need me a cutie mark. So she goes to Ponyville, delivering a letter because she's a mail carrier, and she's like, cool, I gotta go here so I can talk to, like, Rainbow Dash and or Pinkie Pie and learn some shit, and while I've been in town, I keep learning about how the Crusaders are just helping everyone with their cutie mark problems. I gotta do this shit. So I talk to you guys, can you get me a cutie mark? To which the Crusaders' response is, no? Like, we'll try, but I think that's a pony thing and not a griffin thing? Hey, Twilight, can griffins get cutie marks? No, I don't. Oh, sorry, I think Princess is trying to come inside. Like, I don't think so. I've researched it, and I can't find anything. Like, I'll put it to you like this. I see no evidence that they can, but, maybe we'll find out one day. And so they try a bunch of just random bullshit to get Gabby her cutie mark, which is a song, and the song's pretty fun. Nothing is working. So Gabby fakes getting a cutie mark, and they're like, hey, I guess we were successful, and nah, I guess we weren't because it was fake. And then they end up getting her, like, a nice little decal that she can put on her ass to, here's your cutie mark, you're one of us, and it's kind of sweet. So there's a couple of things I glossed over. First is the opening scene in the episode where there's this little filly whose cutie mark is a fucking skull and crossbones, and her parents are like, her cutie mark is kind of morbid. Can you help us figure this shit out? I'm like, do they think their kid is gonna become a fucking serial killer? And it turns out that she's an archaeologist, and her parents thought she was going to become a fucking pirate. I don't know. I think that's just a really fun scene. My favorite scene in the episode, though, as funny as that scene is, it's not my favorite. There is a scene where they're basically telling Gabby, like, okay, we tried a bunch of shit. It didn't work. Twilight doesn't think this can work. We don't think we can help you. And Gabby is very upset. She's like, okay, you guys tried your best. I appreciate it. Thank you. And as she's leaving, Scootaloo just kind of blurts out, we can do it, I promise. And it's like, oh, thank you. I knew you could. Bye, I'll see you guys later after you come up with an idea. To which the other two are like, Scootaloo, why the fuck did you promise that? We can't. We've tried. What are we supposed to do? It's like, I don't know. I know what it's like for people to tell you something is impossible, but you want it more than anything. And as she says that, she's just fluttering her wings. And it was just this moment where I went, oh, this entire episode from her perspective makes so much sense. Also, ow. That hurt. That's right in the feels. Oof, man. Gabby is a character that I want to like. For me, she's just a bit too much. Like, she's very energetic, she's very nice, she's very friendly. I'm like, Gabby, you're at like a 10. And I think my energy right now is like a 7 at max. You're just kind of a bit much. You seem really nice. I love the enthusiasm. It's I don't know. I definitely don't dislike her. And I like that she's like, okay, I'm going to fake getting a cutie mark because I know it's not going to do anything for me, but it'll make the Crusaders feel like they succeeded because I don't want them to feel like they let me down. I think that's very sweet. I think it's a very sweet episode. I would give it a solid B. Viva Las Pegasus. The Fluttershy and Applejack have to solve a friendship problem, which sends them to Las Vegas, where there's a casino run by a dude named Gladmane, who is just like an Elvis impersonator, and he's our villain of the episode. Which, that alone is fucking funny. It brings back Flim and Flam, who don't sing. You lose points for that, I'm sorry. You can't be an S tier. You brought back Flim and Flam, they didn't sing. Who are fighting and having a friendship problem. My favorite scene in this episode, bar none, is when Flim and Flam start talking. Applejack and Fluttershy are walking in the opposite direction, so they don't see them. Fluttershy is walking like nothing's wrong, but she's like, huh, you know, these voices kind of sound familiar. Huh, that's weird. Applejack, as soon as she hears Flim start talking, there is this look on her face like she is having PTSD. Like, she is just, no, it fucking can't be. She saw it is on sight and sound. It's like, that reaction is gold. And Fluttershy's like, hey, I think we found our friendship problem. No, them hating each other ain't a problem. I'm not helping these two, Fluttershy. Applejack, come on. You know why we're here. Nuh-uh, I don't know shit. I refuse. Daga Kutuaru. It's like her refusal to do anything nice for these two is so fucking funny to me. And her refusal to help them leads her to want to find other friendship problems, which leads to her finding other friendship problems, and that's how they realize that Gladmane's a piece of shit. They're like, okay, if he's fucking over everyone, he's fucking up them too. I don't want to help them, but fine. So Applejack goes up to Flim and Flam with Fluttershy, and they give them the spiel, and they're like, well, I don't know, why would this dude lie to us and like make up all this bullshit? Because he sees that you two, as much as I hate to say it, are really good businessmen, conmen, really good businessmen, and very good showmen, and you could run him out of business if you tried. Also, he might not have a reason to lie. You two know that I don't, and if I am telling you this, you know it's true. Oh shit, yeah, Applejack is telling us this. She doesn't lie, and she has no reason to get us back together if we're feuding. Huh. Alright, let's con the conmen. So they try to con the conmen, and it doesn't work, and he's like, you guys are fucking idiots. I invented this particular con, which has them dress Fluttershy up as impossibly rich, and like, it's pretty fun. I actually like it quite a bit. Then Applejack and Fluttershy go up to him afterwards, and he starts gloating and monologuing, and then they broadcast him gloating and monologuing, with the plan being, yes, we ran a fake con knowing you would see through it and you would be too full of yourself to not gloat about it, so we waited until you were mid-monologue and then we busted. You got me monologuing, you sly dog! And that's how they get him and embarrass him and run him out of his own town. And it's not an episode. You didn't have Flim and Flam sing, but it's a damn strong A tier. Like, this one's fun. The season gets better. I still think it's the weakest season overall, but it gets better. And I'm happy that it does. I really am. And then we get to talk about this. Every little thing she does. Oh, boy. Let me just put this in S. First off, this episode is gold. Starlight is doing really well in her magic studies, not in her friendship studies. And Twilight's like, Starlight, I appreciate the magic. You're neglecting the other things. Here are 5 friendship lessons to do. Sew something with Rarity. Bake 'em cake with Pinky. Chillax with Rainbow Dash. Scrapbook with Applejack. Take care of some animals with Fluttershy. You can do them in whatever order you want. It doesn't matter. Just, these are the lessons. And Starlight's introverted ass is like, I don't want to do this shit. I don't want to deal with people. I've been putting off the friendship lessons. Like, I like these 5, but what if I'm bad? Like, what if I don't know what the fuck chillaxing means? I don't know how to bake a cake. I'm just gonna be shit at all of this. Okay, Twilight really wants me to do this, and if I'm her student, I have to do all of my studies and become a better person. Be a better person, Starlight. Be a better person, Starlight. Okay, plan. I'm gonna intentionally have the worst day of my life and just do all of this shit at once. It's gonna be awful. It's gonna be overwhelming, but I'm gonna get it done. So she invites all 5 over so she can have multiple dates at the prom, which granted, like, it's not quite that situation because everyone is there. She's like, okay, I want to do all of this shit at once, so I'll, like, hang out with you for a bit, then you for a bit, then you for a bit, and everyone's response is essentially, that's fine, if that's how you want to do it, just, this thing will probably take this amount of time, this thing will take about this amount of time, and as everyone's telling her, it's like, Starlight, you ready for this? Starlight, you ready for this? Hey, Starlight, hey, Starlight. She freaks out because she is too overwhelmed. She runs into the library. It's like, I need to breathe. I need to breathe. Okay. How do we want to do this? How do we want to play this? Well, I mean, if I took this spell and this spell and a little bit of this spell, you know, I could make them a lot more malleable to what I want to do today, and it would cut down my stress significantly, and this can all go swimmingly. So she casts her spell, which brainwashes the remaining 5 to, whatever you say, Starlight. How do you want us to do this? And she's like, I think the spell worked a little too well, but, okay. And, everything goes horribly right, which means everything goes totally wrong. Twilight eventually comes home, sees all of the bullshit, like the burning cakes, the flood from Rainbow Dash, putting out the fires with too much water. Shout out Hoenn. There's animals running about. I don't remember what the fuck happens with Applejack and Rarity. I think, yeah, I don't really remember. But things go terribly wrong. So Twilight undoes the spell and is like, okay, Starlight, I will talk to you later. Let me get all this shit fixed. So she gets that shit fixed, goes up to Starlight, is like, okay, I'm going to give you a chance to explain before I say anything. Please explain. To which Starlight essentially tells her, okay, so that was my first time ever casting that spell, so it definitely went wrong, and I think I understand where it did. So if I tried it again, Starlight, let me rephrase. Explain why the fuck you thought that was a good idea in the first place. Okay, I feel really nervous about all these friendship lessons and having to deal with other people, so I wanted to get them all done at once, but it didn't seem like that was something that was actually going to work, so I figured if I did this, I could kind of do that. Like, I don't want to fucking bake a cake. I'm probably going to be dog shit at it, and that's going to make me feel bad. And then that means I failed the test. Like, I failed your lesson, so I kind of would just rather have Pinky bake the cake on her own so we can get that done. And same with Rarity and the dress and the chillaxing and whatnot. Twilight's like, oh, fuck damn it. Starlight, that's not the point. The point of baking with Pinky was not to make a cake. It was to spend time with Pinky doing something she likes doing, to get to know her better, to deepen your friendship. And the lesson you learn is that maybe Pinky's fucking cool. What you're supposed to do when you sew with Rarity. It doesn't matter if you made a beautiful work of art. Maybe you just pricked your fingers 10 times, but you got to do something with Rarity that she loves doing, and you get to see her in her element, and you can know her a little better. It was not about the activity. I just wanted you to social link with my friends. With your friends. You dum-dum? To which Starlight goes, oh, I fucked up. Now what do I do? Well, you get to learn the hard way one of the most important friendship lessons of all. How to apologize. Cut to the remain 5 who are all acting like they have fucking hangovers. Like, they look like shit. They're super tired. Even Applejack's like, I feel like I just got shoved through the super speedy cider squeezy 6000. Rarity is, like, wearing, like, I think glasses and a hat to keep the fucking sun out of her face and just, can everyone be really quiet right now? Everyone is, like, at a 10 in their volume. I need you at a 3.5. And then Fluttershy starts talking. She's like, Fluttershy, you're too loud. And it's great. And then Pinky just starts shouting. She's like, I'm so fucking pissed at Starlight. She made me burn my cakes. I don't fucking burn my cakes. Oh my god. Like, that is perfectly good batter that I wasted. I'm mad. Like, I'm furious. Why aren't y'all more mad about this? Then the Mayor of the Hour shows, like, hey guys, how are you? Terrible. Furious. How are you? Sorry. I'm sorry. I missed the point. I didn't see... I wanted to just get all the friendship lessons done so I could just, kind of move on with my day and shit without really considering the significance of these lessons and what these were. Like, I thought the lesson was how to bake a cake and how to sew something, not spend time with people that I like that are actually trying to give me the time of day. I'm really fucking bad at this, and I'm trying. And the fact that I tried and I immediately regressed and took 2 steps back, probably more than 2 steps back, says a lot about me and where I am. And I'm sorry that I'm not better. But I will try to do that. I don't know if you will give me another chance, because this is not the first time I have fucked with you guys. But if you do, and it does not have to be anytime soon, I will appreciate it. And there is one bit during her speech where she's talking about, like, yeah, friendship lessons, which Rainbow Dash just says, here's a friendship lesson for you. Don't hypnotize your friends! And like, she's so mad. And like, it's totally justified. I think it's great. And then after but Starlight apologizes, then she starts walking back, and everyone's just like, that was actually a pretty good apology. Like, I can feel it. I feel like she meant that. She did something stupid. It wasn't malicious. And Applejack's like, alright, let me start it. Like, hey, you know, I left some of my pictures back at the castle. Maybe I'll go back and see if I can help you pick some of them up. And just, like, gives her, like, a wink and a nudge. And Fluttershy's like, I think some of my animals are back there. I can go help with this. And Pinky's the last one because Pinky's mad. She's like, okay, I'll go too. And then you get a montage of Starlight kind of hanging out with each of them, doing some shit and cleaning up. And she's like, okay. She goes up to Twilight afterwards. Or Twilight is watching this during the montage. And she's like, you know what, Starlight? Do you want to know what I saw? I saw you scrapbook with Applejack, and it seems like you two were getting along just fine. I saw you sewing with Rarity, and you guys were having a blast. I saw you taking care of animals with Fluttershy, and I saw you bake a cake with Pinky. That's 4 out of 5. You're doing it. See, it's just that easy. So the last thing is chillaxing with Rainbow Dash, where they all go up to the roof of the castle. And I think they have like a pool or a hot tub, I'm not exactly sure, and a bunch of fucking beach chairs just surrounding it like a prayer circle, and they just start chillaxing. And that's how the episode ends. It's great. It's wonderful. Like, this is amazing. This episode has a really batshit insane premise, and it's really entertaining. I think it's consistently funny. I really like the moral of the episode. Because I don't think the moral of the episode is don't hypnotize your friends. Although, that is a moral. Like, don't do that. But the moral of the episode really is just, on the one hand, because I think there's a couple, just enjoy those moments with people you care about. Enjoy doing activities with them, even if it's not something you're particularly good at or anything. Just, it's nice to just hang out with your friends. The other moral is, when you apologize, own it. Or, like, when you fuck up, own it. And when you apologize, be sincere. And if a friend has fucked up, but is owning it, and has a sincere apology, you should accept it. Granted, there's probably some situations where maybe you shouldn't accept the apology, or accept it immediately as like, hey man, I feel really bad that I, slept with your wife. Well, you might not want to forgive them immediately. Like, again, context is everything, but I don't know. I actually really, really love this episode. Then, let's see. It's getting kind of late, so I think I'm going to do this one last episode. So, why do I need 4 fucking videos to talk about Season 6? P.P.O.V, Pony Point of View. This is the Rashomon episode where Pinky, Applejack, and Rarity go on a boating trip, and the boat ends up sinking, and they're all mad at each other, and Twilight and Spike go get the stories of what happened. So Rarity says, so Applejack went fucking sea crazy and turned into this salty sea dog and drove us into a storm, and I hate her. Ask Pinky, she'll tell you what happened. And Pinky goes, No, Rarity was just, like, the snootiest she'd ever been, and this was all her fault. And then they go up to Applejack, and Applejack's like, okay, so Rarity was being, like, really upper class and snooty, and Pinky is stupid. Like, really, the part in this episode that had me dying, aside from, you know, like, pirate sea dog Applejack, because that was gold. Like, Pinky saying in Applejack's flashback, like, we're gonna have more fun than you can have with a stick. I know, because I brought a stick. And she just fucking bits, like, bonks herself with a stick. And she's just, like, super cross-eyed throughout the whole thing. Like, man, I remember back in Friend Indeed when Cranky says to Pinkie Pie, like, man, you're extra special, kid. That's... Applejack, I think, kind of thinks the same thing. It's like, oh, holy shit. I don't know, they all give their stories and how they're super mad at each other, and then Twilight's like, wait a second. The thing that happened was there was this creature that we've never heard about before. That's what fucked you guys up. It wasn't so bad. Be friends again. And, like, that's the episode. And I'm gonna be honest, I think the resolution is super weak. Instead of... It feels like it's like, we're just gonna blame this, like, completely outside force for the fact that you're all super mad at each other, and it feels like a cop-out rather than an actual interesting resolution for them to kind of get over their shit. But I think the actual stories and the way the three of them characterize each other is really funny. I think what makes it so funny is it's the kind of shit where you can tell how much these three love each other and how much they hate each other at the exact same time. It's like, I know this person, I adore this person. I'm gonna exaggerate them for the sake of my story, but since I'm really mad at them, I'm gonna just go off the wall. Like, I don't know. I think it's a ton of fun. It's not an S tier episode. It's not a C tier episode. I like it enough to give it a genuine A. I don't have a lot to say about it. It's just a fun time. Can I sneak another one in? Because that didn't take super long. That's like 3 minutes. I don't know. What was this? This is The Apple Never Lies or some shit. Short version, this is why Applejack is honest, because she told a lie to a business partner, almost fucked up almost got Big Macintosh's fucking leg cut off. Don't worry about it. Just crazy escalation of one lie leads to the next, leads to the next, leads to the next, and the next, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you know that thing from Pinocchio? When you tell a lie, it grows and grows until it's as plain as the nose in your face? It's like that, but instead of my nose is getting longer because I'm lying, it's I have to keep lying to cover up the lies, and it just starts getting crazier and crazier until it's out of my control. Also, Big Macintosh doesn't shut the fuck up in this episode. It's kind of awesome to see him just talk and be super eloquent. Although it's also Big Macintosh at the end saying, you know, maybe I should talk less and listen more. Talk less, smile more. Don't let them know what you're against or what you're for. Sorry, I love me some Hamilton. But, it's kind of what he's trying to say. Like, I should talk less so I can listen more, because I don't listen to any of your ideas. Like, I don't know. I mean, Applejack's one big idea is something that the family is against, and it's not Big Macintosh's ability to say yes or no. That's all on Granny, and I don't know. I think the problem is he was listening to Applejack and like, I'm gonna let this play out, and that's what was kind of fucking them over throughout the episode. I think it's fun. It's harmless fun. The moral is lying is bad and you shouldn't lie, because yeah, when you keep lying, the situation's gonna get worse and worse and worse until you can't control it anymore. It's a very strong, solid moral. It's an episode about a young Applejack and Big Macintosh, and their parents aren't in it. And I remember when this episode first came out, that really bothered me. I was like, you could have thrown them in! We could have seen them! Where the fuck are they? And yeah, like, having watched the entire show, I don't have that problem anymore because I know where we go in season 7. But, yeah, it's fine. I think I'd give it, I feel like the moral is strong enough I'd maybe give it a B. It's like, yeah, like, it's, lying is bad. Here's the weird, goofy shit that can happen. It's kind of fun. It's pretty okay. I don't know. Maybe it is more of a C tier. It kind of is a C tier episode. It's fine. Like, I do feel very neutral on it. I feel like I'm more neutral than I am, like, respect, you know? That was quick, too. Maybe we can get Top Bolt done. Top Bolt. This is the penultimate. I mean, technically it's the anti-penultimate episode, but it's right before the two-parter and the big finale. So it's kind of the penultimate in that sense. It is the other map episode of the season. It is Twilight and Rainbow Dash. So the Wonderbolts are having tryouts, and if you do well in the tryouts, you can get in the Wonderbolt Academy. And there's a bunch of ponies there, and there's this one named, I think it was Angel Wings, who Spitfire tells this story. It was like, you know, a pony one time trained so hard her wings fell off. She's like, oh, was that one of them? I was like, fuck, that made me laugh. And then at one point she goes up to Twilight and Rainbow, and it's like, you two are my favorite ponies in all of Equestria. I'm like, that's just kind of sweet and fun. And then I did like a little bit of looking into the episode. It turns out that character is like a Wake-A-Mish kid. Is a Make-A-Wish kid's character, and the kid got to voice her, which, A, I just think is sweet as hell. And 2, the fact that it's like, I mean, a kid got to voice her character saying that's like, you guys are my favorite were those actually her 2 favorite characters? Because if that's true, that's so fucking sweet, and that's so endearing, and I love that. That's amazing. Oh, that's so good. But the actual plot of the episode is there's these 2 flyers. It's Vapor Trail, and what was the other? It's like Sky something. I think it was Sky Stinger. And Sky is very full of himself, like kind of in a Rainbow Dashy way, where he's like, dude, I'm so badass. I don't need I got the basics down. I got all the cool shit down, blah, 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 blah. And Vapor Trail is just kind of in his shadow. It's like, you're so cool, Sky. It's okay. And as Rainbow Dash and Twilight watch them perform and fly, they can tell that Vapor's the one who's actually good. And she'll just like kind of get like the way she flies, she'll give these little gusts of air to Sky to help him out. And they're like, huh, Sky's actually not as good as he thinks he is, and Vapor is not letting herself be as good as she should be. How do we want to fix this? To which Twilight says, we just gotta tell him the truth. Like, we gotta let him know you're better than you think and you're dog shit, and let them, you know, develop that and learn from that. And Rainbow's like, nuh-uh. If we tell him that he's dog shit, it will shatter his confidence. The most important thing for a flyer, the most important thing for an athlete, is believing in yourself. If you ever heard of Ben Simmons, and, dude, that's actually, I love a good Ben Simmons joke, and maybe that just makes me a terrible person, but it's honestly just a really sad thing that happened. If you don't know, Ben Simmons is an NBA player who was Rookie of the Year in the first year he actually was able to play because he was injured his actual rookie year, but don't worry about that. It's more kind of semantics. He was playing really well. He was a great defender. He was great at assists. He wasn't much of he was not a shooter, but from what I remember, he could actually score. But dude could not shoot free throws, definitely could not shoot jumpers. In a playoff series against the Atlanta Hawks, in that one in particular, Ben Simmons really disappeared. And the Sixers, who I believe were the 1 seed that year, and were having a phenomenal season, didn't make it past the second round, and they lost. And their coach at the time, Doc Rivers, he made it clear that, hey, man, Ben needed to play better. And Joel Embiid, the star player, he let it be known. It's Ben, come on, what the fuck, man? And the fans, it doesn't matter if you were a Sixers fan, a Hawks fan, a passionate NBA fan, or casual NBA fan, it was... Ben Simmons is not the only reason why they lost, but he was not good for his team. He let them down. And due to injury, I think genuine mental health stuff and all kinds of other off the court stuff that I don't really know about. Not like crazy allegation things, but just Ben Simmons just doesn't play basketball anymore. Like, he's on teams, he just doesn't play. And I think it really goes to that Hawks series and how the media and his own team shattered his confidence. So Rainbow Dash saying, no, the worst thing we can do is tell them, is she's kind of right on that. It's like, I can at least point to a real life example of it. But eventually, Twilight is working with Sky, Rainbow is working with Vapor, and Vapor ends up letting it out to Sky. It's like, yeah, I've been helping you, and then she feels really bad after saying it, which leads to these faces. Twilight makes... I took a fucking screenshot of this, because, like, I was watching, because I have season 6 on DVD. I watched this episode on the big screen, and I was like, okay, I gotta find this episode on YouTube real quick so I can screenshot these faces. I'll post them. I'll fucking, like, post them in a community tab. They're so fucking priceless. Of Twilight having the I wish it was the fucking screen cap for this. Of Twilight having the goofiest smile, like, look, they're told we can move past this, and Rainbow Dash covering her mouth like, oh my god, this is the worst thing that can happen. But Sky's confidence is shattered. Everyone feels bad about it, but then they try to get him better at it, and he and Vapor are working together, and she is helping him buckle down and learn the basics, and he is encouraging her to be as good as she can be, and they both get into the academy at the end, and, like, that's the episode. And, like, honestly, I liked it quite a bit. I feel like I might be underplaying how much I enjoyed it. I think it is a very solid A-tier episode. You know, I remember in season 5, there was like an even number of S and A tiers. So this almost looks right, but I feel like there just weren't quite as many down here. There definitely wasn't one here. But, yeah, like I said, it's late. I actually need to go back, go to the other house. So we're gonna stop this here, and when we do this next, we will talk about the season finale, To Where and Back Again.